Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game for you between Stana as our US. His opponent today is going to be Abuse Until Fix. So this is Ray. He likes to change his name, especially when he's frustrated with the state of patches. And yeah, he's named himself Abuse Until Fix, but this is definitely Ray. So map today is going to be Road to Tunis. 4-quadrant map with these pretty big cutoffs here, and we'll see players fighting over these roads throughout the game, trying to sneak cutoffs potentially. And as the game goes on, folks like to hang out sort of in the middle and rotate to either side. And I'm a big fan of this map. I think it's pretty well balanced. I'd actually love to see some stats on that, but we see it in a lot of tournaments. Folks tend to pick it. They don't usually ban it. And yeah. So, US player going for the armored battle group here, and instantly locking in those veteran crews. So, gonna have the level 1 Jeep to start us off here, and has opted for the capturing ability, Vet 1. And is gonna grab up some territory here. German player, on the other hand, opening 2 Pioneer, Grenadier, and Heavy Machine Gun. Fairly standard stuff there. It's actually been seeing a bit more of the Pioneers in the early game, but not going to happen this game. And Rifleman on the way for Stana. So I wonder if we're going to see potentially early bars here. Bars, of course, last patch got a buff where you can get them without buying a support center, which means you can get them earlier, get aggressive with them. So it's interesting to me that Ray here has, you know, his name is Abuse Until Fix, but he's playing German, and I think he probably thinks that the allies are very strong right now. So kind of funny that he's decided to do that. Dropping down a mine on this far fuel point. Vehicles love to travel this area, so I do like that mine. Nice little move by these riflemen here, snatching away this guaranteed fuel point. Heavy machine gun is going to come down, but I do think these riflemen are at least going to decapture. So is going to deny some fuel potentially. Grenadiers looking like they want to try and stop that. Riflemen going to opt out of the situation. And moved away just in time. Not get suppressed there. Engineers on this bottom side scuffling with these Pioneers. But that's not a place you want to be if you're a Pioneer. Are going to force the retreat there. So, nicely done. And, hope you guys don't mind 2 Stana games in a row here. I usually don't cast... I try to avoid casting the same players too frequently. And certainly not one right after the other. But, saw this Ray game against Stana and thought, why not? So, here we are. And an early infantry support center for our US player. So opting for the... I think we're going to see a quick motor pool here, based on the fact that he's gone armored battle group. And he's bypassing pretty much everything to get the support center. What's interesting to me is he's not opting for the mechanized support center. Instead opting for infantry support. Of course, infantry support I think is really, really good in the late game. Get some pretty serious discounts on the reinforcement of your infantry. So, based on the fact that he's going for that, I suspect we're going to see it. Vet 1 infantry officer quarters here for Ray. So, is going to level up all of his units there, which is a big stinking deal. And Ray just seemingly satisfied to take these long-range fights here. Sort of scuffle with his opponent without actually picking up any ground. Seemingly content with his fair share of the resources. He is a little bit behind on munitions, but nothing too major. And yeah, just little scuffles all the way across the map here. Very cool. Take a quick moment here while the action is spread out to say thank you to all the new subscribers and commenters. You know, I feel like I've been saying this for months now, but work is very busy for me, and you know, I do see all your comments, and I really appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. A machine gun holding back this captain. With the help of this pioneer, it does look like these scouts are going to win this fight, though. So that's pretty good for him. There is more mines here. That mine's a little out of the way there, so it might not catch the captain. I say as the captain runs smack into it. So nice little pickup there. Using mines to maintain the territory. And our US player has gone for the motor pool. Just a little bit more fuel here. It feels like we're going to see a Greyhound straight away here. He's even picked up the rapid production, so this is basically as fast as you can possibly get a Greyhound. Does he have enough munitions? Not a ton of munitions floating, but over the next minute and a half or so, he'll have enough munitions for full upgrades. So that super quick Greyhound going to hit the field. You see our German player going up to Luftwaffe. Now Jaegers, I mean, Jaegers saw a pretty significant change last patch, right? They got a little bit of a nerf in terms of cost. But they saw an improvement to the anti-infantry. So we'll see if he ends up going Jaegers this game. We do see Ray locking in the Luftwaffe battle group here and calling in the LG-40. So we're going to have that anti-tank ready to go for this Greyhound, which has been spotted, chasing away those grenadiers there. So Ray knows his timings. Everyone's surprised. So I've been really liking, I mean, I guess this is basically the same build from Ray that we saw from Stana in the game that I posted yesterday. But LG-40, I really like it. I think it's quite good. And I personally love that you can retreat it. So if you put it in a bad spot, you can run it away. Greyhound coming over here to face down the LG-40, apparently. Typically, you'll see folks avoid known anti-tank positions with their vehicles, but not Stana. Looks like he's wanting to get aggressive. He's going to push back these grenadiers and take back his fuel here, but nicely done by Ray, slowly creeping into this bottom side, denying his opponent his fair share of the resources there. Heavy machine gun going to help out. Artillery barrage called down by the captain. Heavy machine gun's going to have to reposition. Grenadier's actually going to get a bad retreat path there. Taking a bunch of damage, but are going to live. Scouts on this top side grabbing away this fuel here. And Jeep going to take that victory point. Overall, Stana's definitely done a better job controlling victory points, but I would say both players very equal on fuel right now. We do see support elements on the way. And I'm wondering if we're going to see another Greyhound. Feels like a Chaffee might be in order, potentially. But he doesn't need it right this second, so I'm wondering what he wants to do with that manpower. And as we've seen, you know, players will float manpower if they don't need anything at that exact moment. And I didn't notice it, but our US player did add on a mortar. I suspect, yeah, I mean, that had to have been... I think that was a drop by... Yeah, it must have been a call-in. Duh, what am I talking about? It's like, did the Jeep drop it off? No, of course not. He didn't take that Bet-1 upgrade. But love this Greyhound stealing some territory here, I guess with the help of the Jeep. Oh, did he take capturing on this guy too? Very interesting. Okay. So typically, well, okay. What I usually do is I go for the canister shot because I love how strong it is against heavy machine guns. But has gone for the decapture here. And using that to control some space here. And using the Jeep to come in and clean stuff up. You see a second Greyhound on the field. Of course, we do also see this 20mm I believe that's the 20mm flak anti-tank, anti-aircraft gun, so is going to have an answer in addition to this LG-40 for all these vehicles. Oh, where did that Greyhound go down? What happened? Oh man, I can't believe I missed it. Sorry, guys. It was on the top side, yeah, right here. So it looks like it went down to the anti-tank gun there. Great little pickup. And Ray adding on a Martyr here as his first option. I think that's a pretty decent choice against Armored Battle Group. Especially if his opponent is going to continue to pump out these Greyhounds. And even going to do well against Chaffee, and actually changing his mind, going for flak. Yeah, I mean, looking at his army composition, I think Ray has what he needs to deal with Greyhounds and Chaffee right now. I mean, they're going to be a thorn in his side, but he can certainly deal with them. And, you know, there's not a ton of infantry for our U.S. player, but there is plenty for this Verbal Wind to sink its teeth into. Great little move here by a U.S. player, grabbing hold of his opponent's fuel, cutting him off here as well, denying him a ton of resources, and struggling to get out of his base a little bit here. Nice little smoke here, denying this angle from giving him a little bit of a safe space against these units in the road. And German player is going to be able to get his hands back on this cutoff point. And also going to get us, manage to resecure his fuel here from the looks of it. Greyhound going to make that annoying. Bar rifle's on the way. And, you know, this is the second time I've seen a player recently going for bars with only 2 riflemen. I'm not sure I agree with this decision. I do like... So, okay, I will say that with Armored Battle Group, you tend to have less... tend to have more munitions floating, right? Because there aren't super great munitions-intensive abilities from the battle group. So your only options are grenades and mines and bar rifles. So with these bars, I suspect we're going to see our U.S. player build 2 bars on each of these units, potentially. Jeep's still alive here. I don't think it's been upgraded. It has been upgraded. So does have access to that signal detection, so he can see units in the fog of war. The ability wasn't on right there, but if he turns it on, he will scan the fog of war at the expense of revealing his unit. I've really been liking that change this patch, especially in team games, where folks tend to build those map hack units a little bit more often. It lets you go on some diving missions, you know, go in deep behind enemy lines, or potentially bombard them into the fog of war. Nice little pickup by the flak there, catching that captain on the retreat. We do see an ET gun added on, is going to get a shot here. Flak managing to back away. And I think this is the new skin here. Sorry, I know there's action happening, but that looks really good. AA gun going to go down to a nice flank for these riflemen here. Greyhound getting involved as well. Heavy machine gun's going to hold it down. Not sure what that grenade was. Maybe it was a German grenade. But flak is going to drive back all these units. Really no AT to speak of, except for this guy here. And flak is going to have to back all the way out. Should survive, though. Rifleman moving in. Getting aggressive there. And looks like he is going to... Oh, that was real bad. Yeah. That was questionable decision-making going back in with that low-health flak. I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot to fight over. I mean, I guess he was trying to get his AA gun back. But there's no world, in my mind, where AA gun is worth a tank. Despite how annoying it might be to lose it to your opponent. And engineers losing their minds here. Going after this heavy machine gun with a flamethrower. Gonna get driven back there. Jeep, still alive, still annoying. Grabbing up some fuel. German player's been denied his cutoff this whole game. And, you know, maybe Ray's right. Maybe US are really good. I say that tongue in cheek a little bit, right? I mean he's a way better player than me and understands the game in a way that I probably don't. So I respect his opinion. But I would say there were a couple mistakes this game that have cost him dearly. And we've seen a well-executed game by our U.S. player, taking advantage of his mobility and making some really smart moves, taking away points at critical moments. So I'm sure I've made someone unhappy in the comments, but I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking this patch. Personally, I've been playing a lot of Wehrmacht. Well, not a lot. I have been playing Wehrmacht this patch, and I have enjoyed them. So that's the important part to me, and hopefully it is to you guys as well. LG-40 gonna miss its shot there. Grenadiers getting in close. Gonna drive back that Jeep. That Jeep has been... This mine... Yeah, that mine, a little out of position there. Actually, I wonder if our U.S. player's been driving around it. I mean, players know the popular mine spots on maps, especially as old as like this one, right? And maybe he's going all the way around that loop there to collect some points. So we do have a flak back out on the field. This player is currently up an AA gun here. And storing up a bit of fuel. Hasn't gone up to tanks yet. Honestly, I don't think that we will see him go for tanks just yet. I mean, we could be looking at infantry logistics here. Do we have that yet? Not yet. Potentially. It doesn't really feel like it fits the build too well. I mean, the battle group, I should say. But it does fit his build well. We'll see what he ends up wanting to do. German player has made it to infantry reserves here. So has discounts of his own on his infantry. Unit preservation for both players has been really good. So this game could go the distance, but US player has done a really, really good job holding the victory points all game long. Black gonna drive him back here. Both AT guns getting involved. And both tanks gonna back away from each other. Get some great connections on the flak there. And German player moving out of his base on this bottom side in a big way. Pioneer's probably going to head up to that top side to try and repair up that flak. Grenadiers holding down the cutoff, or the guaranteed fuel, I should say. You see that Jeep. Jeep was using his map hacks there. And still is. So look at that map coverage there. See a ton of space. Black helping out max range here. Gonna push back those grenadiers. Eventually. Scout going down. Where'd that happen? Oh, in the house. Wow. That was a little bit of a mistake by our US player. Not the end of the world, of course. And more riflemen and more AT guns on the way for our US player. So Stana taking advantage of AT guns instead of bazookas here. And I think that's kind of an interesting choice because we know that our German player doesn't have... Our German player is not going to end up with super heavy tanks, right? There's no Tigers in the future. And I feel like the advantage of... Well, what am I trying to say here? I think AT guns are going to do really well against all the armor that our German player could potentially field, you know, as big as Sturmpanzers. And, yeah, that's kind of cool. LG-40 getting a shot on the Greyhound. Greyhound going to bail out. And Ray getting real aggressive here. Might actually find this AT gun. Does have a second AT gun in support. Should be able to wipe this. I don't know what cost, though. LG-40 going to push the Greyhound all the way back. So a nice little decrew there by our German, but ultimately not going to get a whole lot done. Heavy machine guns setting up on these units coming out of the base. Grenadiers closing, or getting closed on. And are going to have to run. Might go down here. That's an unfortunate loss. But with 2 flak on the field, German player is going to be feeling okay. He was adding on a heavy machine gun there briefly, and is going to ultimately do that. Airburst from the mortar, drive back these grenadiers. And what a nice little shift of color we're seeing here. German player managing to pick up all 3 victory points, even taking away his opponent's fuel. Managed to throw some sandbags down here, and are going to win the fight against this Jeep, driving him back. Here comes the US player back in force. Black going to slow it down. AT gun not in position just yet. So, things looking up. You know, this is what I talk about when I say players should stay in games. It's not very extreme, but if I had been in Ray's position losing that early flak, I would have been very, very frustrated. He lost a flak gun and a tank. And the fact that he stayed in this game, and I feel like he's stabilized in a big way and has a pretty decent army composition, speaks to why we should all stay in our games despite frustrating circumstances, right? Grenadiers in a bit of a risky spot there. And I take it back. I guess the flak and support from those units is going to be just fine. Did manage to drive back the rifles. Here come the LG-40s, though. Or here comes the Grenadiers. Going to grab up this middle. AT gun going to spot. And repositioning at just the wrong time. Mortar hitting Vet 2 already. Medical bunker on the way for our German. That is a late medical bunker. Does he have healing? I don't think he does. You wouldn't want both. Yeah. Cool. So very late medical bunker there. And a martyr up next. Perhaps sensing his opponent might be going for some light tanks. Stana obviously floating a ton of fuel. Could transition into something like a German bulldozer. But hasn't happened yet. Rifleman going down. MG's going down. And mortar might go down as well. Barely going to make it out of there with Vet 2 on his back. Grenadier's going to eat half a grenade there. And yeah. So quick bleed here feels like we're seeing our US player bleed victory points rather quickly here. Good news is he's got plenty to work with. So, and does feel like he firmly has control of this bottom and center. And basically the ball is in our US player's court here. AT gun setting up on the flak, going to drive him back. All these units suppressed, though. We do see G43 upgrades on those Jaegers. Going to help out against all this infantry. I'd love to see him use the ability. I still have not managed to capture a player using their new ability, which I will show you. Yeah, this slowing fire here. So it's very defensive, right? It slows your opponent. I think it also slows your unit. And it leads to this situation where if your opponent's walking into you, they're going to have a real bad time. And finally seeing the tank depot on the way here. He's going to have a decent amount of manpower laying around to get out potentially a medium tank here. Mortar connecting with the flak. Dealing a good chunk of damage. Martyr is ready for this situation, though. Rifleman going to win that fight. I'm still wanting him to go for double bars, and he has on at least one of those squads. That's a good choice. Not floating too much munitions. And double Chaffee. Why? Okay, I guess he canceled the tank depot. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, Chaffee got a speed buff. I believe that was the buff. It's been a little bit since I looked at the patch notes. And I'm going to try and check real quick while we follow these Jaegers in follow cam. Oh my god. Being wrecked by that mortar. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that they gave Chaffee a speed buff, and they have they have a little bit more dive potential now. They definitely have more pursuit potential. So, guess he's wanting to dive on some tanks here. I mean, he's definitely going to hide these, right? He doesn't want his opponent to know that he has them. Because if our German knows about it, he can get ready. Mines are a great way to deal with this, by the way. Got mines around where you're hanging out. Chaffee are going to have a bad time if they try and dive you. Jaeger's going to go down. Barely going to escape. Martyr setting up on the Greyhound. Might get him. One shot. Nice pickup there. That was an important unit. But here come the Chaffee to avenge their comrade. Closing quickly with this Martyr. And German player has literally no other anti-tank options other than his snares and his LG-40, and that's not enough to deal with these diving Chaffee. Wow. Gonna pick up a Martyr, gonna pick up a flak, probably gonna get this second flak here. Holy cow, and with those Vet 1 abilities that give them that evasion and speed, just totally running over his opponent here. Wow, beautiful. I did not believe in the Chaffee as much as I should have. Might lose one, but that is a non-issue for that kind of trade. He even lost the low Vet 1, so is going to walk away with a Vet 2 Chaffee there. Victory points still favoring our German. Significantly. He's got that quick bleed on his opponent right this second. US player using sandbags against him. Flak coming in here. So, committed to that anti-infantry role. You see 4-bar rifle infantry out on the field here. Has he gotten any of the infantry techs? He still hasn't. I mean, he has grenades and bars, and he called it good. I think we can see that reflected in his manpower just a little bit here, right? He's got the manpower discounts on calling in vehicles, but he does not have the manpower discount on reinforcing his infantry. And over the course of the game, that can add up to hundreds of manpower. Chaffee trying to help out against the infantry, going to be driven back by the recoilless rifle there. I do love these pioneers standing in the smoke, holding down this victory point, bleeding out his opponent. Riflemen finally moving up to this top side. There are pioneers in the area, but not going to be able to get anything done.
The enemy has taken a victory point.
And actually nicely done here. Our US player swinging around the edges of the map, recognizing his opponent is strong in the middle. He just needs victory points here, so that's what he's committing to. Strafing run on the way. Yep. Not a strafing run, bombing run. And I never see this ability taken or used in 1v1s. It's very, very common in team games, but cool to see that bombing run. What's it called? Fragmentation bombs. AI loves to use that call-in, that's for sure. So US players managed to stall the bleeding here, but it is going to continue here very shortly. Rifleman going to get picked up by this flak. Potentially Chaffee's there, though. Don't want to trade a flak for a rifleman. He's going to at least get the rifleman. AT gun setting up, though. Chaffee closing in, and there's an AT grenade. This is a dead flak. You see another flak in the queue there, but that is not a loss that our German is going to be able to withstand for much longer. We also saw some Jaegers go down here. So nice pickups by our US player. Chaffee getting in behind this heavy machine gun. Being annoying there. Low health rifleman going to scuffle with those engineers. Surprised he's not going for the middle. Engineers are coming in now, but they're going to have to deal with some Vet 3 grenadiers there. AT gun setting up. Drive back to Chaffee, so is going to maintain control of the top side, and in fact going to maintain control of all the victory points here. And Rifleman got to bail out. Yeah, so I'm over here thinking if our US play... I mean, the game's not over, but US player very much struggling to get out of his base here. And oh, that was a big mine. Jaegers might go down here. And if our US player had a little bit more room in this game, I think he has a real chance at winning. But the way it stands here, struggling to get out of his base, is making it a little tough here. Yeah, well, like I was saying, I'm wondering if those Chaffies were a mistake. I mean, it's really hard to call Chaffies a mistake when they kill 3 vehicles. But I'm just thinking a bulldozer could be really powerful in a situation like this, but he'd have to contend with the Martyr, right? And those flak guns that probably would still be alive. So this would be a very different game if our US player had gone for something other than Chaffee. And it's hard to know if that's a mistake or not. Looks like this flak's going to win this fight against this Chaffee here with the help of the snares. So Chaffee is going to go down. Not sure if it hit a mine or a snare, but in any case, going down. Grenadier's picking up this AT gun. US player falling apart here, and with 7 points to go, that's going to be the end of the road. Yeah, that was a very meta game, but it was nice to see Wehrmacht come out on top here. You know, I've been seeing a lot less... Well, I don't know. It's been a different patch, I'll say that. So, it's fun to see them come out on top. Fun to see a little bit of a bloodbath there. Just vehicles going down left and right. And that Chaffee charge was awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did. And I will see you in the next video.